It's always so weird. I hate the non-reflection thing. What is going on? I always dislike the way the camera does not reflect. Is that a setting I can do? Let me do a quick setting. Mm, mm, YouTube stream. Was it mirror camera? All right, whatever. Okay. Anyways, welcome. We're going to be talking about the state of vibe coding a little bit, and then we're going to get into some actual projects because I have some work to do. It's Monday. I slept in, and here we are. So, welcome. I just kind of left the AIOS stuff from Liam Otley, and love Liam. Love a lot of these guys. I've learned a lot of stuff from these YouTubers: Nick Sarayev, Jack Automations, Nate Herc, Adam Goodyear, little niche guy, but a lot of cool stuff. But I also want to talk a little bit on the truth of things. Okay. AIOS, AI operating systems, is nothing but product design. Product design is something that has been here since digital products have been, digital software, right? When software products have been here, right? And you can see already, like, it's difficult sometimes to kind of find the right term for the thing that we're talking about, because digital products means like PDFs, downloadable things, zip files, and stuff like that. Product design can sometimes mean like physical stuff, like designing a mouse and stuff. And so software product design is like the real term we're talking about. Product design is the shorthand of it. But as soon as coding was a thing, you had this, because as soon as coding was a thing, you had interfaces. And when you have interfaces, you have, workflows, and you have something that a human interacts with. And these things are the products that the world kind of sees, right? They don't see the code, they don't see the stuff, they see what they see. So anything that you use on a daily basis, a project manager, a task manager, a CRM, these are all software products. And so someone had to design them. Someone had to make a decision as to where the buttons are, what the navigation is doing, and where just everything flows and how you actually do things with it, right? And it's a big space and it's open, but it's been around, right? It's been around for a long time. So what's happening now is kind of like your layman that knows AI, that knows automation, that knows, these tools, JSON and Claude Code, and then all that stuff is kind of putting two and two together, and they're realizing that you can do this, right? And one of those terms that you've heard is vibe coding in order to do this. But vibe coding is like a little bit of a more playful thing. And then we have like software product design, which is, I think, the more professional version of it. But, the reason why I named this thing Vibe Code Cowboys is because it's the same principles, right? It's the same principles of putting something together that people like to use and then putting it into a business. Okay. So whether you're coming from this from a side of like, I like making coded stuff, or you're a guy who likes automation and whatnot, you find a middle ground where you're making an interface that you coded that has workflows and like a user interface, and it has the power of automation in the background. And that's the whole focus of this channel. And that's the whole focus of this industry. And it's not going away. And it's not something brand new. It's just that the way that the market has opened up, you've just given more people with skill the opportunity to go and do it. But I just want to be very clear, like, just because the opportunity is there doesn't mean that everyone's building great products. Just because the opportunity is there doesn't mean that anyone can go and build a great app. Someone can go and build an app, right? It's just like saying like hammers exist, right? Hammers exist. So now anyone can go and become a carpenter. We know this is not true, right? Wrenches exist. Home Depot exists. Anyone can go and be a handyman. Anyone can go and build a shed. But not everyone is going to go and, one, just do it. Just have the balls and have the effort and have the attention span to go and do it. Same thing with code. People just aren't going to do it. They're just like, oh, it's too much. I have things to do already. They're just, one and only, they're just not going to do it. Okay. And then two, a lot of these people are not going to be good at it. Okay. So, for example, there was like 1,700 people in Liam's stream for the AIOS. let's say 200 of them are like note takers. So let's go 1,500 people in a stream. 1,500 people in a stream. Let's just do a hard, broad rule of 20 is even generous. I'm going to say 10. 10% of people are even going to take action to the point where they build like a version 1 of an AI operating system. So 10% of 1,500 is 150 people. And then 10% of that, I'd say, are going to be people that actually go and stick with it long enough to make decent amount of money with it. So 15 people, I'd say, 15 people from the entire world out of that, what's it called, webinar, are going to go and actually do something with this. So you don't have to feel like you're behind if you're a builder, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity if you're a good builder. Okay. If you're a good builder, if you care, essentially, that's the missing ingredients, man. Right. Because yes, you are going to have the people that, don't have a coding background and don't have like, visual design background and don't have all that stuff. But if you care enough to make a great product, if you care enough to have something that looks good, feels good, operates good, it does some kind of output for your client, and your client is happy with it, if you care enough, you will see it through, right? Obviously, you also have to care about the money. You have to care about your results. You want your results, but your results come from their results. So you have to care about their results. Then it goes to your results, and then you go and build, or you go and make the money and collect the thing because you built something well, right? It's the same thing as like everything else, guys, right? If you're a mechanic, you have to care that the car stays on the road, right? If you're someone like that, you have to care that the thing actually works and does its thing, right? So I just want to have that small statement about the state of the market, just because there's a lot of like opportunistic language and there's a lot of like vibes if you're learning to build something and all that, that makes it so that you feel like you're having this anxiety of like not knowing where to go in the market and stuff like that. And so this channel, I want to teach you the principles of people who have decided to go down this road, right? This channel is not for everyone. This channel is not to say anyone can go and do this. I don't believe that. I think you need some foundational skill. I think you can develop that foundational skill, but I think there's like personalities and character traits that would make you probably a bit better in this stuff, right? To lay those out simply, one is you need an understanding of like visuals. You need an understanding of visual and how humans interpret visuals. Whether you have a graphic design background, whether you're just a person who likes film, even maybe a person who likes posters, maybe a person who likes fashion, but you're someone who understands that there is not just like a pleasantness to visuals, but there's also like a science and understanding to the persuasiveness of visuals. Okay. If you understand that that exists and then you're willing to learn those core principles, you'll do better, because all of it fundamentally, like I said, is an interface, and people interact with these things on a visual basis, right? You move your mouse on a screen on a visual basis. And so you need to make sure that you have your visuals in line with how the brain reacts and how people use things. Okay. This is not to be like underemphasized here, right? Products with bad user experience do not get used. Products with good user experience can be less productive, less useful, but will be used more. Okay. A great example is school. People hate on school for a long time. SKOOL, Alex Hormozy and Sam Ovens product. People hated on it for a long time. They said WAP can do that, Kajabi can do that, all these other things can do that, but they didn't see the simplicity of school. And the simplicity of school is what made it broader, right? And I would argue, I don't even know actually the stats on this. We can look it up later. But the people on school just wanted a platform that worked, right? And that's like the biggest thing. You just want a platform that works. You want a product that works. And so this isn't about being the fanciest visual designer. It's about being the clearest sometimes, right? And it's the same thing like in terms of marketing. They say you should be clear, not clever, meaning you want to say something that doesn't take too much mental effort to get the joke, right? To get the concept of the idea. Clear, not clever, right? Clear, not clever is a great principle for visual design, product design, marketing, and stuff like that, because people are people, right? I don't like saying people are stupid. I don't like this concept like everyone's stupid. So, design to the lowest common denominator. I don't think that. I think you're disrespecting your fellow man. I think that everyone's busy. Everyone's busy. Everyone's stressed. Everyone's got things going on. And, some people like a little intellectual, hurdle, intellectual battle. But if you want the broadest available, like grasping of people's attention, you have to go clear, not clever. Okay. Make a joke, make a product, make a design, make a visual, make a marketing ad that is clear and not clever, and you'll do great. Okay. So we're talking like visual hierarchy, visual understanding. That's one good component. That's one thing. Another one is being clear and not clever, and just generally the visuals, and also like the workflows and stuff like that. And also even communicating with people. When you're communicating with people, you're talking about the outcomes. You're not talking about the code. You're talking about what they get. You're not talking about what's under the hood. You're talking about cargo fast, not, this octane level gas and this carburetor and this engine cylinder makes the car accelerate at this many miles per hour. You just say cargo fast when you step down on pedal. That's what I'm talking about, right? Sounds stupid, but it's the truth. If you talk like that, you will make more money. If you talk like that, you will help people more. If you talk like that, you tap into the parts of our brains that are just like mammalian, reptilian, and we understand these things, right? It's the same thing when it comes to like just hunger or lust, right? You feel it at such a core level that you don't even argue it. You don't, there's no need to argue it. There's no need to over explain it. There's no need to intellectualize it or anything like that. You just get it. Okay. So the same thing with products. It's the same thing with marketing. It's the same thing with all this stuff. Okay. So visual understanding, just an overall simplicity. And then I'd say the last one is, yes, a little bit of a technical understanding of like, how does this actually work, which is kind of like the nuts and bolts of things. But if you're a person that, say you want to be an architect and you like houses and you like understanding space and all that stuff, you're going to learn what a beam is. You're going to learn, where to put the wall so that this foundation can have structure. You're going to learn, the codes of like the windows and like the fire exits and stuff. You're going to learn these things, and it's probably going to be boring. It's probably just going to be a little bit boring. It's probably going to be a little bit difficult. It's going to be a little bit tedious. But if you are willing to learn it and you can learn it, there is a capability of needing to be able to understand these concepts. Then you'll have that done, have that taken care of. You'll get through, the first 2 years of college, or those, what do they call the preliminary classes? I forgot the term of it. I dropped out of college, but they're just the stuff that you need to know to kind of just make the thing work, right? In order to build a beautiful yacht, you need to understand how things float, right? And so it's kind of the basics, and you do need to get that. And you need to have a little bit of enough grit to get through that process, which I think most people have. Everyone just kind of has different levels of it. So with this one, it just kind of depends on you, like whether or not you grasp it and how long it's going to take you to grasp it, but you will grasp it if you stick with it long enough. Okay. So that is about as much as I'm going to talk about that for now. I guess what I'll say to wrap it, like, I don't know, how would I say this? To wrap, if you want to do AI operating systems, AI software product design, it is very, very possible, very, very fun once you get there, and then very, very useful to the end users, these companies that are going to be paying you money to install these systems. Okay. It's going to take a little bit of work to get the skills. It's going to take a little bit of work to refine the skills. But once you do it, you're going to have this cluster of skills and this cluster of capabilities that people are going to seek you out for, right? If you do some promotion and stuff and get the ball rolling and all that stuff, your name becomes kind of associated with these cool things, then you will definitely do better, or you'll do well. You'll absolutely do well with these skills, because this is what people deal with every single day, right? Try to understand a knowledge professional workers. Try to understand a knowledge worker's day to day. A knowledge worker is a term coined by Peter Drucker, and he talked about anyone that uses their brain to work, right? Not labor, not all that stuff, but people that use their brain to work. And a funny thing, even if you are in the trades or the labor, you probably have like a reporting system or some kind of like, system that you use on your phone, you report back to base with, and it's a piece of software. Every person that makes money in today's economy, for the most part, uses these softwares. And lots of these people do not like the softwares that are currently out there. They don't like HubSpot. They don't like Close. They don't like PandaDoc. They don't like, what are the other ones? They don't like Close. They don't like Home. They don't like, what is it? They don't like Monday. They don't like Trello. They don't like any of these things that they use on a daily basis. There's like missing buttons, or there's too many features, or there's confusion, or the price just went up, or the usage limits just went down. And now we have the capability for people like us, people like you, if you follow along with this channel, to go and design products specifically to them. Okay. Imagine if someone told you you can go and you can have the perfect car for you. You can have the AC that you want. You can have the digital system that you want. You can have your seat the way you want. You can have your interior the way you want. You can have your exterior the way you want. The paint, the tint, every single thing exactly to you, one of one, custom. And every time you get in there, it feels like an ocean breeze just on you, because you know exactly where every button is. You know how to get in, get out, so how to park the thing, just not even looking. Basically, it is so simple and clean, right? And this is what's happening with business. Okay. So if you've been paying attention, you know that Lovable and Bolt and all these places are telling anyone they can build apps. But again, just because you can doesn't mean you can do it well. And just because you can doesn't mean that you will even do it in the first place, because you got other things going on. So if you want to build these things for other people, follow this channel, pay attention. We're going to go through all the steps. We're going to go through all the things to be able to understand all the layers so you can do this and you can be sought out for your craftsmanship, right? And I want to emphasize that this is a craft. This is a craft. If you go and you can do these things for people and you can lead them comfortably along this path, and you can say, you don't have to pay for hundreds, thousands of dollars for these subscription costs anymore, and you get a better piece of software and use it every single day. Your day, every single day, has just gotten 10 times, 100 times better, because this software is yours. This software is designed by you. You don't like that that's missing a button? We'll make that button. You don't like that this page is over here? We'll remove that page. We'll move it somewhere else. You don't like that this thing is like a restriction? Fuck that restriction. You know what I mean? So we're going to do a lot of that on this channel. We're going to go through the process of understanding what makes a good product. We're going to go through the process of how to sell that good product. We're going to go through the process of anything to do with that sort of thing. Okay, so follow along. There's a link in my bio for my school to get real deep dives. These streams here are just to kind of get the word out and also trying to show you guys what I'm working on and what's going on with this. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up a project that I'm currently in the process of auditing. Okay. And a lot of what I do right now is taking people's half built, quarter built, 75% built products, going through the code base on the back end, and then going through the front end, the user experience, and then telling them how they can improve. Right. Because I've got so much time into this now, excuse me, because I have so much time into this at this point, I can see these patterns, I can see these trends, and I can help people really save themselves a lot of headache that they're going to run into if they don't have someone like me come in and help them out. So that's what we're going to do today. It is a small background on the client. This is a person that sells a water purification software, if I understand correctly. And we're in the early phases, so I'm not fully understanding. So I'm not like fully briefed on what exactly they're doing. And I'm trying to understand it from the code base, like ground up. And then we're going to have a client conversation. We're going to tell me a little bit more about how they use it. And then we're going to come together. We're going to create a deck. And I'm going to give them recommendations on how to build. And if they want us to build it, then we will go and build it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up two different things. One is going to be the cursor, and the other one is going to be kind of my Claude conversation that I'm having where I'm building out a deck, or three different things, excuse me. I'm going to pull up three things. One is the cursor, so you can see the files. Two is the Claude conversation that's helping me go through some of this. And three is the Google Doc, where I'm writing down my actual recommendations that we're going to be turning into a deck once we're done with that. Okay, so let me get that going. Let me make sure that all my systems are a go here, that I'm not leaking anything crazy, and that, oh, is that why it wasn't working? Let me see if I'm doing this properly. Oh, heck yeah. Cool. Okay. So let me do this. Wait, I'm so scared to leak something. Hold on. This pissed me off so bad. Okay. Entire screen, second screen. Let's go. Let me make sure things streaming properly. Okay, cool. Sick. So once again, this product here is something that a client built for themselves, that they are basically creating SOPs for their industry. It's a wastewater and water treatment industry where the types of SOPs that they need, as you can see, relate to the different tools and things like this. So they have kind of someone go in here, type in what they're using, and then these individual things can go and give them SOPs. So this is the end SOP, how to use it, the purpose and scope, the safety, and then all these other sections. This stuff here, I'm actually looking at for the first time. I was doing some preliminary stuff, just kind of going over navigation, UX, the code base on the back end, and then just looking at all this just to see what people have, or just to understand it a little bit on the high level view. And now I'm getting into a bit more specifics after hooking up the LLM that they use. And that is a big thing that we currently have noticed, that a lot of this is dependent on an LLM having connection, which can be very costly. So when I say we, I keep saying it's me. I talk in terms of we sometimes, but that being said, it's just me. So one big problem about this thing already has been that the navigation is just bad. Like I can't get back to the home, the main feature, which is not good. Okay, where is it? Dashboard. There we go. So we need a home button. First and foremost, we definitely need a home button because this is your main feature. And this is like a big problem that I'm noticing right away. Problem number one is that these people, okay, I don't want to say these people, I don't want to be rude. So problem number one with this product is that it currently has a main feature and no home page. The home page is the main feature, which doesn't work well in practice. A home page needs to be something that explains what the thing is doing and how the user is going to use it. The main feature is where that person is actually putting that into action. Sometimes they can be combined into one, but a lot of times it's actually not as useful to do that because you want someone to sit with the information. Excuse me. You want someone to have all the information that they need to understand what they're getting into, and then you want them to take a small action to go into the next phase. This is not like a landing page where you want minimal resistance. You want at least one touch of resistance in order to get someone to kind of show intent and then make sure that you're not just getting spam people inside. I've built something in the past where you had like an open sign up and there was a spam problem. And even once we added CAPTCHA and we had some security and stuff, it was an issue. So what I'd recommend is just making a human action. Yes, you are adding more friction, unfortunately, but for the people that you actually want to get in there, they'll take that action. It's not that big a deal. Add one small point of friction. Friction can be a good thing. Okay. So this is what we're looking at now. This is a home page plus a main feature trying to be in one. And I don't think it flows. It doesn't really follow principles of good design. For one, there's a lot of space that could be used on the left and right hand side here. When if you look at this, we could probably just combine this into one main hero section. And this icon is taking up too much space. I don't like it. And this icon here is also taking about as much space, and I don't like it. It's one or the other, in my opinion. If you have a logo or an icon, choose one. Don't have an inconsistency between them. Make it off to the side. Make it like a nice brand. You're not trying to be Gucci where you're splashing it everywhere. If you're a product, it's the product first, and then the branding comes after the people associate a working product with it, right? It's not fashion in the sense that you want like large, you don't want like a large area or surface area where people are like, oh, it's that brand, right? You got to think of more like luxury brands that are very quiet. They just have like a small like chest thing right there. Not like the Gucci's of the world where it's like Gucci, 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 right? Because with clothing specifically, like there's not a lot of like use for it, right? It's just you throw it on, a shirt's a shirt, a pant's a pants. Does it fit? Yeah, but it's about like the visual. With the product, you need to make sure it works. So the visual should kind of take a step back. So these icons, I would reduce it by one, and I would move this SOP builder title off into the side. And I would also try to avoid any acronyms, right? SOPs, standard operating procedures, yes, it is like a common term, but once again, like you just want to avoid any sort of confusion. Again, being too clever. You don't want to be too clever. You want to be clear. So that's what's happening here. And essentially, this area is doubled up right here. This area is the exact same thing in purpose as this area right here. You have a title with an icon with a subtitle explaining it. And then you have a title with an icon with a subtitle explaining it. We don't need that twice, right? And this is what I notice in a lot of these bills that I analyze and audit is that these people, have gone into these bolts and lovables and replets, and they start to prompt and reprompt and prompt and reprompt and prompt and reprompt. And it's actually hard to delete stuff, right? It's funny that it's just like a commonality of humans that we are so much better at adding things to a problem, at like putting in more gas into the fire. And it's so harder to let go and to remove stuff. It is very true when it comes to your habits, when it comes to just your life and how you solve things. And then when it comes to product design, it is actually harder to remove things, but it's so much freeing. It's so much more freeing, more liberating, and it's so much more relaxing when you remove stuff, right? If you think about like the amount of softwares you have to use more generally, right? If you think about a project manager, a billing platform, a website server, and all these things that you have to use on a daily, weekly basis as a business owner, you're probably like hoping for the day that you can remove a subscription or remove a thing or something like that, right? And even like, let's just talk about movies and streaming services. If you have Hulu, if you have Netflix, if you have Tubi, and if you have, Paramount, and then you have Disney, like it can be so frustrating, and it can be like you're running a lot of things at once when you're just trying to watch a movie. And if you just committed to Netflix and that's what I get, sometimes it's actually better, right? This is called the paradox of choice. The paradox of choice, they ran a study and they said, or they sent people into an ice cream shop. The ice cream shop had either like 80 flavors or 3. And they went to the people afterwards, and the people that went in and had the 80 flavor selection were less satisfied with their choice than the people that had a 3 flavor selection, right? And the reason why is because the human mind is always asking themselves, like, could I get better? Could I get better? And when you have 80, you have a higher potential of being like, oh, I could get better, right? So relating back to this, you want to keep it simple so that the user doesn't feel overwhelmed, like they're clicking the wrong button or they're going to the wrong screen. And also they just have a clear offer, right? Going back to the ice cream example, if someone said, you want 1 scoops or 2 scoops, that's it, right? It's like, okay, I'll take 2 scoops or 1 scoop. That's it. And then it's like $5 or $7. Very simple, right? You would love that, right? But if someone was like, okay, we have a 1 scoop, but there's a 5% tax on it because of the cup. You can do a cone, but it's not a waffle. A waffle is going to be soft like a cone, but it does take 2 extra minutes. And then you have a waffle plus a cone plus a cup. The tax gets removed if you do that combo. And then if you add in a second scoop, then you get the waffle cone and for free an additional one. So you might as well get a second one. That is so confusing. And people are just going to leave. People are like, what are you talking about? I just want to eat my ice cream, right? So it's so funny. Like I don't I don't judge this thing in people. I don't judge this concept in people because it is hard to just remember. It's hard to just remember. But because you think, oh, I'm going to offer them so much. I'm going to give them so much. I'm going to give them so much. I'm going to give them so much. They're going to have all the answers and all the things that they could want. They're going to have all the options and all the opportunities they could ever want. But truly, people want something good delivered simply. People want something good delivered simply, right? One of my favorite places to eat a burger is In-N-Out Burger, right? In-N-Out Burger, I know my order. It's consistent. It happens all the time. I can add a Coke or remove a Coke, but that's about it, right? I don't have to go through all these like combos. I don't have to look at the big arch or the McRib or all these crazy things. Even though I love McDonald's, sometimes with their promotions and stuff, it's like get a 2 for $20, get a 3 for $5, get a 1 for $1 plus another one. Then if you buy this burger, then you add this burger, but then you use our app, then it's a whole nother thing. And then we love you, McDonald's, have it your way or whatever it's called. And sometimes I just want to go to In-N-Out Burger. I say, give me a double animal style, protein style, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So a big tangent on simplicity, right? A big tangent on simplicity because it is huge, okay? We can't have, as product designers, we can't have this doubling up of surface space. And specifically so because this is literally 2/3 of the hero section. And the hero section is by far the most important to any website, any page, product, or anything. The hero section is the most valuable real estate. It is the thing that people are guaranteed to land on if they land on your product. if they click on your URL, it is the thing that they see for sure. You don't know if they're going to scroll down. You don't know if they're going to make it to the bottom of the page. Don't hide anything. The hero section should be your most valuable real estate. It's your front door. It is the first picture on Tinder, okay? It is the number one thing that they see. So make it good. And this one is performing a fundamental sin of using two-thirds of it to do not much. You see where my mouse is? Two-thirds of it to do not much. So we need to change that. Okay, we need to change that. And right now, I'm not going through the changes because, again, I'm just going through an audit and I'm letting the business know that these are issues and we're going to fix them. But I'm going to make myself some notes. So if I go into my notes over here, I'm going to say, going into the user experience section, we're going to talk about onboarding clarity. And I had a little bit of this. I think everything is going to be triggering AI detectors these days. I wrote basically all of this myself, except for the outline, which is crazy, man. I think that these AI detectors, side note as well, I just don't think that this is going to be a game that we're going to play and win, guys. I think that whether you use AI or don't use AI is not going to be the differentiating factor. It's just, do you use it well, right? It's just to use it well, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like caffeine, I guess. It's like, do you use it or not use it? It doesn't make you good. It doesn't make you bad. It's just, do you use it well? Do you use it so it gives you jitters? Do you use it so it makes you productive? Do you use it so you stay up way too late? But anyways, moving forward, what I want to do is I want to type in hero section. And I'm going to just say what I was telling y'all. This is by far the most important real estate of any website, app, or landing page. It must convey the purpose and ease of use or ease of the tool. I can change this later. Currently, 2/3 of the page, of the page is spent on an icon, title, and subtitle that explains very little. The hero section should be optimized to reduce visual noise and explain the product as simply as possible to new users. And we're going to go potential headlines. And go potential subheadlines. I never know if is it headlines or headings. A headline is the main title of a news article story. A heading is a title or subtitle used to break up an organized section. Headline, heading, H1. So I'm thinking heading. Heading is the one that I want. So we're going to do potential heading. I'm going to do H1 heading. I don't know. Sometimes I throw in some technical terms in there and I just don't want it to be too much, but yeah. So the hero section and the onboarding clarity are quite similar, right? You want the hero section to do a fair amount of the explaining, and you want the onboarding clarity to be smooth and simple as well. Onboarding can take a couple different forms. It can be as simple as scrolling through a page here, and then you know what to do. Or it can be multi-steps where you get the person to sign up, log in, make an account, confirm their account, and all these different things, right? And technically, onboarding on like a software product design level is that whole sign-up thing. But on an analysis level, onboarding can be as simple as their first use, right? And if someone doesn't require to sign up, then that first use is like the first thing that is onboarding. Okay. So that being said, what is it currently like right now? Right now, okay, so we've already talked about how this is a waste of visual space. So we're going to zoom past this a little bit and just start here. Right now, this here is trying to still do more of what this is doing up here. So this is all like explanation, but it's just not clean. It's not clear. It is just maybe these three things can be tightened up and then one title, and then we move on to the actual stuff. These features are kind of adding into what this is, but if I were like a user, I'd already be so like lazy, just like overwhelmed visually with all this stuff here that I probably wouldn't even read this. And I still don't know what this thing does. It says create standardized operating procedures for water and wastewater treatment plant equipment and processes, create comprehensive SOPs by combining information from these sources, staff notes, safety data. So you're saying like create an SOP from a SOP almost as a manual, and then it's just like procedures, uploads, and stuff. Okay, still hard to feel the value of something like this, right? And so I'm not of this industry. I don't know water treatment. I don't know water processing, but I know how to kind of convey value of things. And right now, I can tell you that this is not really speaking to the fundamental use case of what this is. So this whole hero section really needs to change. Secondly, once we're past the hero section, you're still selling. You're still selling. And then this image doesn't really do a lot of clarifying of what this is. I see a laptop and I can't really even make out the original. I can't make out what's on the screen here. It's too small. I don't see anything. It just looks like a laptop mock up. So this doesn't, again, still selling me, and I don't know what we're being sold. And so now we're here. And now it's asking us for actions, right? As you can see, if I put my mouse on it, it hovers. And so that's an indication of clickable stuff. And so now you have these three buttons, which changes a lot of things. And this is another situation of being clever and not clear, because as a user, this would actually kind of scare me. I'm like, I don't know which one's the right one. I don't know how to do it. So I click into how it works. How it works is a lot more information as well. And I would think that this is kind of stuff that's been already figured out. And I'm not even reading this. I'm clicking through, and my brain is going, this is a lot. This is a lot. What do I do here? And I'm just going to click around and be like, okay, you know what? Let me click this. And then we're on a dashboard that, again, is even more information thrown in our face. We probably don't know what to do with. And I think if you're a new user, you actually don't even have access to the dashboard. This is because I'm kind of signed in right now, but this is like a weird area to take someone in right away, right? So, and now I can't go back. So I forgot how to go back. Let me go dashboard. Oh, dashboard. And so two things are named dashboard as well. Okay. So look at this. I click SOP management dashboard. On the top right hand side, it says create a new SOP dashboard, SOP. So it's clicking back to the, you see how the navigation is kind of wonky because it's not clarifying where things are going and where things is. So a lot of issues. I'm trying to stay on track to just analyze the front page here. But first and foremost, what I would say is that this is having the same problem of the section above. So the same way that the section above was doing a lot of different things to try to sell me on what this thing actually does, why it's valuable, and why you want it, and it ended up being just more confusing than what it could be. Same thing down below. This thing is asking me to do quite a few things, and it's not clear what I could do, and it's just causing me to feel overwhelmed and feel like I don't even know what you're asking me to upload here. What are you asking me to upload here? What's this? This is, in fact, maybe even the more useful thing, but it's not helping me. And so this is another problem. And then what's this? Start building SOP. I don't even know what this is. But now, after having looked at this a little bit more, I understand that this is the main feature. So we're having such a poor introduction into the main feature, and the feature can be very useful, but it's a very poor introduction to it, right? If you're a good guy or a good girl and you don't know how to dress, you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to chit chat, you're not going to go on many dates, right? And it's a poor introduction into something that is really good, right? Leaving page. Yes, leave the page. Cancel. I don't. Oh no. There we go. Very confusing to even leave a page. So at this point, I'm going to have to lock in and make some edits to this and potentially show the client what this could be. Okay. I want to work on this a little bit because I need to understand a little bit more of what these SOPs are, like what the end purpose is for these SOPs. And I'm going to assume right now that it's going to be clarity, right? First and foremost, you want clarity. For any standard operating procedure, the goal is typically clarity. The goal is clarity, accountability, and just or kind of reusability of a process and piece of information. Meaning, someone who's going to read these SOPs is going to refer to them to do something that has been done before, and people want them to do it in the same exact way. So you want to show that clarity and you want to sell that clarity. Okay. I don't have a full design just yet, but I will show you something that I've been working on that is potentially going to be the thing that replaces this. So I was using Claude Design. I'm not married to Claude Design. I do like Claude Design right now. I've been testing it out though, as well as some other things. And I'm just going to see which one ends up being like the one that I want. But for right now, here's an example of something through Claude Code of what could be much better a way to sell all this stuff. So here, if I could maybe put this away, I don't know how to put this away. I don't know how to do anything just yet. You can see already standard operating procedures built with rigor. And there's maybe the 3 points here. I think this is still too busy. I think this can be simplified further, but there's 3 points here. And then down below, you have the how it works, this little kind of timeline, which again, I could simplify probably into 3. I could cut this in half. And then you have the 4-step process here, which is a great kind of visual tool, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ingest, structure, refine, approve, and publish. And this is more along the lines of like a clean explanation. And again, this is kind of a work in progress. I still don't like this all the way, but I do think it's better. And then when you come into like the main feature, then you have the different kind of style selection, the equipment SOP, process SOP, laboratory SOP, even though I don't think there's like that much going on. So I don't even know if this is really necessary as far as like the differences between the two. I think you should, or you should try to eliminate as many choices as you can to get someone their first result and introduce the refining and stuff later. Like Claude Design, as an example, is something where you only start off with like import, attach, or type. And then later it goes in here and it says, what would you like to edit in here? And then you can do all these different little things, right? If I asked you all these different little things in the front end, you'd be like, I don't even know, man. I just want to get my idea out on paper, right? So same kind of concept. You just want to get your idea out on paper and all that. And this below is still kind of up for debate. And this here is also up for debate. And then there's also a lesson or a version below of something that's a bit more chat oriented, and then something that has, just a light scheme rather than a dark scheme. So that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more time to analyze this and roast this and to make this a little bit simpler as far as like what we're trying to understand and the actual end outcomes. We're going to take it back into Claude Design. I'm going to showcase what I can do as far as like a design level. And then we're going to use those principles, right? Visual simplicity, clear but clever, visual, how would I say it? The 3 principles we're going to focus on is clean visual hierarchy, being clear and not clever, and then hiding the technical stuff, right? Making the technical stuff just disappear, waving your wand and letting the client know this is something that we do on a daily basis, something I do on a daily basis. I'll make it simple for you. I'll make it scalable for you. I'll make it work for you. You go on the ride, you get in your car, press the gas pedal down, you go fast. You don't know about gas, you don't know about carburetors, you don't know about engine cylinders, you don't know about seals, you don't know about anything valve oriented or anything like that. Get in car, push down pedal, car go fast. That's how I want to make it for you. So at this point, I'm going to end the stream. It's a bit of a short one, but I've been talking a lot and I need to go and just focus on this and do some work and all that. So thanks for joining. I'll chop this up into something else. Hopefully you come back for the next one.